My name's Lucia Bahamonde. I am a senior at Florida Virtual School.
Almost done.
Yep.
All right, awesome. Thank you. So, what happened that made you realize that you needed our service?
Yeah, I actually tried out a different SAT tutoring program and it was super confusing, if that makes sense. The tutoring sessions were virtual, but I was never face to face with the tutor. It was all by call. The explanations were just confusing. The order in which the topics were taught, like everything about it was just confusing. And I ended up going to take my first SAT feeling like more unprepared than before I had started because I was just so confused. Yeah, and then I was like, I definitely need better help for this.
Okay. And then was it that you heard about us from like a friend or something or?
Yeah, I was recommended by a family friend, and I'm so thankful. Like it was an amazing recommendation, definitely. And yeah.
And then so I'm assuming she just recommended us and then did you immediately just you bought in immediately or were you hesitant about anything at first?
No, I what I liked was that you like asked to meet with me to like explain everything thoroughly, like the program and everything. And that's already like I was already kind of like, oh, this is cool because I was like, oh, he's really passionate about math. And like I was like, this is cool. And I saw the Instagram and like the results, and I was like, these are good results. So that's kind of what really like sold it for me.
And you had done one-on-one at first, actually, I remember correctly.
Yeah. Hmm.
Then you swapped into the group, right?
Right.
That's actually interesting. I don't get that too often. It's usually the reverse.
Hmm.
So, so I'm curious. Before you went into the group tutoring, what was your expectation of like the virtual group environment?
Yeah, I did the one-on-one just because I was short on time and the group setting, I was definitely hesitant. I was like, oh, is it going to be as personal as my one-on-one lessons? I don't know. I had so many questions, and then I was like, it was interesting to see because it was like I was learning from other people, like when they were explaining how they got their answer, and I was like catching on to their mistakes, or I was like, oh, that's an interesting way to do it. So it was honestly maybe even more helpful, I would say, in some ways, because sometimes hearing it from people who are at at your level kind of is really helpful.
Right, because the groups were set up so that the people were at your level.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean that's how we set it up, you know. So
Yeah.
at least you know the other kid asking that question is gonna ask probably a question that maybe it didn't come to mind at first, but it's like a valid question at the level that you would need it to be for it to make sense for you. So
Exactly. Yeah.
that makes sense. All right, cool. And actually let me pull back 1 second. I forgot to ask. Can you dig a little deeper into your situation at that time before you started tutoring, right? So you had done tutoring with somebody else already.
Hmm.
Kind of weird, whatever. You took an SAT, correct?
Yeah.
And how did that go? Like, so did you do poorly on the SAT or did you do okay?
I did for my standards. I was like, this is not great. I think I got a 550 around there, maybe give or take 10 points on my first try. And you're already nervous going into an exam, especially an SAT. And it's even worse when you feel unprepared. Like
Right.
it was a really awful feeling. Like you're going into the test feeling like I have no idea what I'm doing. So that was just like where I was like, I need help.
And what about math in general?
Math, I felt at a pretty okay place with math at that point. A lot of times I felt like I just wasn't a math person. Like I was like, I'm not math oriented. And then I realized like, no, I just wasn't being explained math in like this way. Like I was finally understanding math. I was like, oh my God, maybe I am a math person because it was just making sense.
This is great news for you. You know why?
Why?
Because you would think there's not that much math for med school. But I have my friends studying for the MCAT.
I know.
And there's a surprisingly more. It's not like there's any complicated math, but if you're strong at math, it helps. It really does. Like it just, there's like the Chem Phys section of the MCAT. And I mean, obviously I look at that and that's the one part of the MCAT where I'm like, bro, this is cake. Like I got this.
Right.
But no, yeah, I can totally see like just being good with numbers and just having a strong background there. If you don't have that, it will significantly hinder your ability to do well on that. So congratulations. And like,
Yeah, I definitely have a good base now for what's to come.
yeah, that's awesome. So to summarize that, is at first you had this feeling that you weren't a math person
Right. Yeah.
going in. And what math class were you taking?
I think I was taking pre-calculus.
So, it's still that's an
Yeah.
advanced class, but maybe you were in pre-cal, but still a little hesitant. And that kind of makes sense because then as soon as you were showing everything, like the advancedness in you just like came out, it blossomed. That was a weird way to say that. But anyways,
yeah. But it makes sense.
It makes sense. So, all right, how would you describe our service to another student? Like, what should they know?
Yeah, I mean, I remember our first meeting, you told me that the homework is important. And I think that stuck with me. And like, I think that's key. What I really appreciated about like the tutoring sessions was, we would have to submit our answers through the chat box. And then based on that, we were like the questions that we got wrong during the lessons is what the homework that we got. So like, that's just, I think is almost a perfect foolproof technique. The questions you get wrong, then you get like 5 pages of homework so that, you never get that question wrong. And honestly, like, I don't even think that 5 pages of homework should be dismotivating. I was so excited to do it because I knew that when I saw that question again, like there was no way I could get it wrong. Because like I just did it 1,000 times.
Yeah. I wish more people thought that way.
In the moment, maybe I was like, oh my God. But now I'm like, no, that's makes sense.
It was what you needed.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what makes this program work so well is the repetition, doing the same question over and over so that when you see it on the exam, it's like, oh, I know this.
That's cool because it's key. I mean, I tell students all the time, they're like, oh, I already know this, or I already knew that, or oh, this is easy. I got it in like one problem. I'm like, no, that's not the point, man. It's like, look, there's going to be a ton of stuff that you're not going to know, and you're going to need to work hard to know, to learn, right? But there's also stuff that you already know, and you're going to have to get faster at it, right? Because what people don't realize is it's just as important to get faster at the things you're good at. Maybe not equally important, but there is one part of prep that revolves around speed, right? And part of speed is improving how fast you can solve something that you already knew how to do. And that's going to buy you more time for that hard problem where, you might need it 3 minutes to solve it. Like, it's one of those problems where like, if you had enough time, you'll get it.
Right.
But where are you going to buy that time? Well, on the ones that you already knew, but now it's so quick to recognize it, right? And then to solve it that you're going to have that time now.
Yeah.
And the key is repetition. It's what you said. So, and I mean, so ultimately, what result did we help you get?
In total, 1350, which was amazing because it guaranteed me 100% bright futures. So that was just like amazing for me. And then in math, I went from 560 to 690, so 130 points. So not bad for only math.
That's what's up.
Yep.
So ultimately, you already said that, right? So that got you bright futures, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But what else has that result helped you get, right? Or enabled you to do?
Oh my gosh. It was just like a relief, I think, especially with like so much going on your second semester of junior year and senior year. It was like, okay, I have that done. So it was like applying for colleges. It was like one thing that I knew was like going to be solid on there. And I ended up getting into a bunch of schools that I wanted to get into. So.
And where did you end up going?
FSU. So staying in state. I'm so excited. Yeah. It's the bright futures that really got me like, oh yeah, we're going to FSU.
Yeah, if it's fully paid, like what?
Exactly. Amazing.
Awesome. Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah.
Is there any advice you would have for other students currently on their SAT prep journey?
Do the homework all the time. And taking the practice tests seriously, like in a, take them at once in a quiet environment, how you would, because that kind of helped me a lot, especially if you're, nervous or anxious about the actual test day. And yeah, and just trusting that everything's gonna go well. And if you do the work, you get out what you put in. So yeah.
Yeah, there's never been a person on this meeting that did our program that didn't put the work in. So, well, is there anything else we should know?
I don't think so. I'm like, that was thorough. That's yeah,
Just like our program. That's what's up.
exactly. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, that was really good. Thank you.
No, thank you. Yeah. I'm really happy with with where I'm at right now. And honestly, like a lot of it had to do with this tutoring. So yeah.
Good luck on your journey. Maybe, maybe by the time you go to study for the MCAT, maybe we'll be doing MCAT tutoring. Who knows? Or
Listen, get to it.
even if we're not, reach out. I know enough people where I can probably guide you to good resources. So
Thank you. Yeah. That'll be helpful.
all right. Well, good luck with everything.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.